Hi all, I wanted to do a short video that I call, and apparently my dog is greeting you as well. No Way Out versus A New Hope, or maybe it should be titled An Old Hope. And what made me think of this, even prior, but especially after the Biggest Loser story, I was thinking how we don't give people a lot of hope when it comes to reversing their health conditions and long-term success at, I call it health restoration. And a big part of that for a lot of people, and it was me and my wife, is also weight loss. It can be. And we really kind of set up a scenario with move more, eat less. That's essentially no way out, because that works against the body, works against how we're designed, and it works against our evolution. So what does work for many people, and it did me, and my wife, and our daughter's thriving on it as well, and many millions have discovered this, is high fat, low carb. And when I made that decision, essentially I was presented with a no way out scenario if natural fats were bad, because I had obvious insulin resistance and family history of diabetes, and I was pre-diabetic myself. I didn't have all the markers, but I had enough of them. And so if the scenario was that carbs were actually essential, 130 grams of carbs, the base of a healthy food pyramid, then there was essentially no way out. I was going to get sicker and sicker, chronic diseases, and it wasn't looking good for me or my wife or our daughter. So then I came across, why is fat considered bad? And I literally Googled that, and you come across Ansel Keys, but you also come across a few key things as you delve deeper. One is that natural animal fats are a mixture of saturated, monosaturated, polysaturated. You come across cultural wisdom, the Greeks terming a sacrifice the fattiest animal. We used to, in our cultures, say putting meat on the table, working. So what you worked the most for was what was considered the most nutritious food, meat. We used to say meat and vegetables. The American Indians, which were considered some of the healthiest people ever on the planet, subsisted a lot on pemmican, and they honored and were in very close connection with nature. So they were very much meat eaters, and they understood that their cultures and their kids and their elders and everyone was dependent upon animals, and were very, very respectful and appreciative of animals. And that's how I try and live our life, my life, and our family's life. So one of the other things that I've come across is that really it's only been less than 40 years where anyone's ever said animal fats were bad. There's been no vegan cultures. There's been some vegetarian cultures, but in the minority. So cultural wisdom is really, really, really important, because that's not based on commercial interests. That's based on the best interests of the tribe. And by the way, I admire vegans and vegetarians for what they're trying to do. I think there's a lot to be said for mixed farming, and especially smart animal raising as very good for the environment. And absolutely we should have animals raised in humane conditions for them, for us, and for the planet. So I don't think there's a dichotomy there at all. So the important thing that I realized is that it's only been a couple decades where anyone ever said that animal fats were bad. Lard, for instance, if it's properly rendered, has almost the same composition as our stored body fat. So the chances that it's anything other than a superfood are remote, because it's essentially the same way that nature stores fat on you. So lose the fear of fat, embrace it, become fat adapted, and you'll more than likely have the best health of your life in body and mind. All right, everyone, be well.